So you probably clicked on this video because you're using Claude. And you've probably been sold this dream that Claude's going to take you out the hood, it's going to retire your parents, and it's going to take you to the Alps to ski next year. And the reality of it is that so many gurus online are spreading misinformation and telling you that if you learn Claude, you're going to be rich. And it's true. Most people don't know how to use AI, and you can sell AI services to people, and you can make a fat bag. But the problem is that these nerds online are selling you a dream that if you get good at using AI, you can magically find clients and live in this wonderland where you're gonna build money out your ass. And it's really starting to piss me off because my whole feed's flooded with Claude, and my whole feed is basically filled with this disease that you need to get so good at AI, make an AI agency, sell these services, and make a bag. And it's pissing me off because I've been in the online world for the past 4 years. In the past 18 months, my agency has generated $3 million in revenue for our clients. Personally, we've generated multiple six figures. And 99% of the workload that we have given to our clients, like all the deliverables, was done using Claude. And we are an AI powered agency. I'm just kind of sick of seeing misinformation online. And I just kind of want to vibe out and give you guys the actual value on how to get rich using Claude. And I'm completely freeboarding this. I'm not going to sell you a course. I'm not even going to make an offer at the end of the video. I'm just going to rant, have a real talk, and post it because I promised myself I was going to build a personal brand. And hopefully the editor cooks because this is completely unscripted. But anyway, let's get back to the topic. So, right now, there's this disease spreading, which I like to call the build, don't ship disease. And what I mean is, so many people are getting into like vibe coding, so many people are getting into AI, into automations, into building online businesses, and all of this. But they're going about it in the wrong way. They're going about it trying to understand how to master AI, but not to master business. And this is a plague because so many people I see who kind of get into this online world are falling into the trap where they want to perfect their skill set with AI before they start shipping. And they're doing this thing where they're building before shipping. But, my business partners, we always have this debate on whether you should sell before you learn or you should learn before you sell. And this is kind of like this whole concept. And I really kind of want to dig deep into it because so many people are getting it wrong. In my opinion, we're at the stage of kind of AI right now where the more important thing to learn is learning about the business. And the less important thing is kind of perfecting your skill set with automations and AI and Claude and all of this bullshit. And let me explain what I mean by this. Right now, the AI world is changing at a rate so fast that the only real skill set that's going to stay with you is understanding business. And from a practical standpoint, that means understanding your niche, having a very clear defined offer, and basically validating that people want to buy your stuff. And the problem that so many people are facing right now is that they're building all of this cool stuff on Claude and doing all these cool things. And then they're going to test the market. No one wants your bullshit, bro. No one wants your fucking Apollo lead scraping agent that validates 100 times and then sends an email flow and fucking researches your lead and whatever. Like, I don't know. No one wants it. And the reality is that most people who want AI automations or something that AI can solve want very simple things. And what's happening is that so many people are kind of falling into this trap of getting really good and really complicated and building all these like complex systems. But then they're not spending enough time on the highest leverage activity on how to get clients, on how to build a business, on how to scale a business, on how to do this, how to do that. So many SaaSes are popping out everywhere. So many people are kind of, building this amazing stuff. But because there's so much in the market right now, your offer is not validated and you're not going to make money. And I just kind of wanted to rant about this because it's like really, really, really annoying me because all I see on Twitter is these gurus fucking like trying to sell you a course, showing you all this complicated stuff, saying they sold it to a client for, $15,000 in a day. And it's just bullshit. And I actually want to give you the real source on how to make money online and how AI kind of fits into this. And it's very simple. When you think about a business, you want to think about what a business actually does. 99% of the time, a business helps you solve a problem. If I'm thirsty, I go buy a water bottle, right? Why? Because that helps me quench my thirst. If I'm fat and I want to lose weight, I go to a personal trainer. Why? Because they help me, or I go to the gym. Why? Because that's going to help me solve the pain point of me being fat. If I don't feel confident and, I kind of want to get my confidence, I go to Selfridges and I buy some drip, right? I go buy some clothes that make me feel more confident. Every business transaction helps someone at some point. And I know this isn't like 100% true, but you get the vibe. Businesses are about helping each other and kind of it's transactional value of like you help me and I give you money, whatever. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but you get the vibe. So when you kind of look at it in that way, you realize that when building a business and specifically when building an offer for your business, and what I mean by an offer is what you're going to be offering to your clients, you basically want to find a problem that clients need help with. And, there's so many ways you can find this problem. You can ideate with Claude. You can see what problems people are already solving and add your own twist to that. You can solve a problem that you're having and try to monetize off that. But essentially, you want to find a problem and then you want to be a solution. And I'm not going to get so into a lot of detail about like business and finding problems and finding offers, but I want to simplify it. In the AI world, you basically want to be the middleman between a person who has a problem and you know how to solve it with AI very quickly and very efficiently and very well. And you kind of want to be the middleman that sells like these AI services or like implementation or like automations to the person that has a problem. And you basically do it with AI. So that's like the best way of explaining it, where you're kind of like the middleman. You're the guy who's solving all these people's problems. You're doing it with AI, but they don't need to know that you're doing it with AI, right? And this is the mistake that so many people are making is when they're selling their service or when they're selling their solution to the problem, they are selling it as an AI automation, when in reality, you should be selling it as a solution. Example, let's say, I don't know, I own a real estate company and I'm having a problem where my sales agents aren't responding to leads because they're asleep, right? I want to find a way to solve that problem because I know that if I get my sales agents to respond to the leads when they're asleep, that increases the likelihood of me getting more leads in a month or like leads losing interest overnight. And then that will eventually increase my top line revenue at the end of the month. So that's a problem I want to solve. And then I'm now someone else, and I'm someone who solves that problem, and I'm someone who's like built an AI receptionist or whatever, which is a shit offer, by the way, and we'll speak about this in another video. But I'm someone who wants to, help this guy and build an AI receptionist to make sure that problem never happens. 99% of the people in the AI world go and sell it as like this AI powered specialist. But in reality, you need to sell it in a way where it's like, hey, you have this problem. This is what my solution is. I'm going to help you make sure you never miss a call with leads. And this is powered by AI. And the way you kind of frame it is the other way around. Everyone's focusing on AI and then the offer, but it should be the offer, the solution, and like the outcome of the offer powered by AI. And that's literally what a business is, right? If you can kind of crack your offer and you can like actually validate it, you actually go do market research, you actually go speak to people, you make content around it, you see if people want it, you do some cold outreach, you see if people want it, and you validate that offer, then you build the perfect solution. But right now, people are trying to build a perfect solution for a problem that they have not validated. So the message of this video is if you're there and you're vibe coding and you're making these complex things and you don't have any clients, you should stop right now and you should really reconsider your life decisions because you want to make money from this. And the way to make money is to get clients. The way to get clients is to start finding an offer, finding pain points, building an offer around it, going and trying to validate the offer. Once the offer is validated, you'll have clients and you'll get paid to learn to build these amazing things. And I'm completely speaking from a beginner standpoint because I know so many of you are beginners. I want you guys to get paid to learn. I don't want you guys to spend all this time on these apps which are so powerful and not make money from it because there's so much money to be made when you have the right offer, you validate it, you do your outreach, and you, my God, bro, this is 3 a.m. And you do your outreach and you let the market build your offer. You don't build your offer predicting the market, right? Awesome. So that was a bit of a rant. If you like this video, consider commenting and subscribing and all of that bullshit. If you didn't, consider disliking. I don't really give a fuck. But either way, I'm going to see you tomorrow for my new rant. Peace.